And finally, for the V model of testing, the acceptance testing is the last phase of the traditional model, and it includes all the activities which are done when the system is ready to be rolled out for the public eye or the customer to see for the first time. So the acceptance testing is a phase which starts after the system testing, where it is ensured that the system technically fulfills all the necessary requirements and the design of the software is validated. The acceptance testing is coupled with the requirements, since the acceptance testing is no longer a sort of a technical activity, but more like a quality assurance task which oversees that all the requirements are fulfilled and that the system in the actual real-life environment is able to perform all the required activities. The acceptance testing is more or less the last phase of technical work, and after the acceptance, the system usually is launched or sold or delivered to the customer. The acceptance testing, therefore, is the phase where all the different parts and connectivity things, inputs and the external services are used. In fact, the system is already working with all the intended components in the systems testing, and the only difference between the systems testing and acceptance testing is that the acceptance testing takes place in the real-life environment. It uses the real-life services, it manages the real-life data, and in most cases it already has real-life customers or selected subgroup of customers called beta testers. The client-side services, such as bank connections and other, are already present and they are used. The server cluster or cloud or whatever approach to save the data is already in place, and all the sensors, inputs, controllers and other peripheral devices are already working. So, in short, the acceptance testing is phase where the full system is tested in the actual operating environment. It also means that all the things or objects or services or interfaces or activities which will be in the final system are in place, but for the final quality assurance purposes they may be in limited launch use or in limited size use. For example, with games, launching new massive multiplayer online game, we may intend to cover the entire globe with something like 10 server clusters, but for the acceptance testing purposes we only put one of these clusters online and use it as a beta tester user to see that everything works, and then just scale things upwards when the actual launch happens. So overall, the focus on acceptance testing is on quality assurance and that everything works as intended. This doesn't only cover the technical aspects or the components or the interfaces which were the focus of the previous phases like integration testing and system testing, but also that all other things like manuals or support services and such for the users or customers work and are in place because the users are already real users and therefore they need support services and online manuals and such. And as mentioned earlier, if we are using digital entertainment, namely games industry terms, the acceptance testing of the V model is closely resembling the beta testing phase, where the system exists, the product is already completed, and the only thing we are testing is the internal balance, load times, performance, simultaneous users, and other things which cannot be simulated or emulated to a realistic degree inside the development team or the test laboratory or test suite used in the systems testing phase.